The 1980s and 90s were a golden age for Hollywood leading men. These weren't just incredible actors, they were the ultimate heartthrobs, the faces that covered every teenage bedroom wall and defined an entire generation of cinema. But how has time treated these legendary icons? Today we're looking at over 75 of the most beloved heartthrobs from the 80s and 90s to see their unbelievable then and now transformations. Let's count them down. Johnny Depp, the ultimate 90s alternative heartthrob and cinematic rebel, now 62 years old in 2026. Bruce Willis, the defining face of blockbuster action, grit, and charm, now 71 years old in 2026. Tom Cruise, the unstoppable force of nature who still dominates global box offices at 63 years old in 2026. Wesley Snipes, the ultra-cool action icon who brought unmatched style to the 90s, now 63 years old in 2026. Brad Pitt, the undisputed textbook definition of a Hollywood heartthrob, still effortless at 62 years old in 2026. Leonardo DiCaprio, from teen idol mania to one of the greatest actors of our time. Now 51 years old in 2026, Dolph Lundgren, the massive, jaw-dropping powerhouse of 80s action cinema, now 68 years old in 2026. Jean-Claude Van Damme, the muscles from Brussels, who blended martial arts with megastardom, now 65 years old. In 2026, Denzel Washington, pure brilliance, timeless charisma, and unmatched screen presence at 71 years old in 2026. Richard Gere, the suave leading man whose charm left an indelible mark on romance cinema, now 76 years old in 2026. William Baldwin, one of the most recognizable and charming faces of 90s drama, now 62 years old in 2026. Christian Slater, the ultimate 80s and 90s cool kid with that signature rogue charm, now 56 years old in 2026. Jude Law, captivating global audiences in the late 90s with his striking good looks, now 53 years old in 2026. Kiefer Sutherland, bringing that intense, rugged edge to the screen, currently 59 years old in 2026. John Stamos, everyone's favorite TV heartthrob who continues to look incredibly sharp at 62 years old in 2026. Kurt Russell, the definition of an effortless silver screen badass, now 74 years old in 2026. Luke Perry, the unforgettable Beverly Hills 90210 teen idol who tragically passed away too soon at the age of 52. His legacy lives on. Emilio Estevez, a foundational star of the iconic 80s Brat Pack, now 63 years old in 2026. Billy Zane, the smooth-talking, memorable star we all remember from Titanic, now 59 years old in 2026. Mel Gibson, the blue-eyed action megastar who ruled the box office, now 70 years old in 2026. Pierce Brosnan, the man who brought peak sophistication and suaveness back to James Bond, now 72 years old in 2026. Matt Dillon, the quintessential rugged, brooding youth icon of 80s dramas, now 61 years old in 2026. Brendan Fraser, the beloved star whose incredible talent and recent comeback warmed everyone's hearts, now 57 years old in 2026. George Clooney, Hollywood's ultimate modern gentleman who only gets more distinguished, now 64 years old in 2026. Paul Rudd, an absolute phenomenon who seemingly cracked the secret to staying young, currently 56 years old in 2026. Val Kilmer, the brilliant chameleon of Top Gun, The Doors, and Batman, who sadly left us at the age of 65 after inspiring millions with his resilience. James Spader, captivating audiences with his uniquely intense and charismatic characters, now 65 years old in 2026. Scott Speedman, making waves as a late 90s dramatic heartthrob, now 50 years old in 2026. Harrison Ford, an absolute monument of cinema history, still carrying that historic charm at 83 years old in 2026. Ben Affleck, the 90s indie breakout star who grew into a powerhouse filmmaker and actor, now 53 years old in 2026. But here's the part that might surprise you. These weren't just typical actors. They were the biggest, most influential heartthrobs of their era. The faces everyone admired, the stars people had posters of pinned on their walls, the ones who truly ruled Hollywood in the 80s and 90s. But time changes everything. Some of them are still actively dominating the big screen today, while others, have completely stepped away from the spotlight. Tragically, a few are no longer with us. When you see how much they've transformed over the years, you won't believe they're the same people. So stay with me, because these next few names will take you straight back to Hollywood's golden era, and some might shock you. Matt Damon, shifting effortlessly from the 90s golden boy to a global movie titan, now 55 years old in 2026. Ewan McGregor, the versatile Scottish star who won our hearts across indie films and galactic franchises, now 54 years old in 2026. Viggo Mortensen, bringing unparalleled depth and rugged charm to the screen, now 67 years old in 2026. Jeff Bridges, the epitome of effortless, cool, and cinematic greatness, now 76 years old in 2026. Michael J. Fox, a timeless icon of charisma and unparalleled spirit, now 64 years old in 2026. Christopher Lambert, the intense, unforgettable face of fantasy and action, now 68 years old in 2026. Gabriel Byrne, bringing a smooth, mysterious European sophistication to Hollywood, now 75 years old in 2026. Matthew McConaughey, the ultimate 90s breakout charm who defined all right, now 56 years old in 2026. Stephen Dorff, the edgy, brooding bad boy who defined 90s alternative style, now 52 years old. In 2026, Antonio Banderas, the fiery, charismatic force who completely redefined the modern romantic hero, now 65 years old in 2026. Charlie Sheen, the young 80s Hollywood royalty turned massive pop culture icon, now 60 years old in 2026. James Marsden, the definition of striking, classic leading man looks, now 52 years old in 2026. Ethan Hawke, the definitive artistic, intellectual heartthrob of Generation X, now 54 years old in 2026. Jason Priestley, a premier 90s television icon who stole millions of hearts, now 56 years old in 2026. Dermot Mulroney, the essential charm behind some of the greatest 90s romantic comedies, now 62 years old in 2026. Rob Lowe, an ageless monument to classic Hollywood looks, currently 61 years old in 2026. Hugh Grant, the stuttering, endearing king of peak 90s romance, now 65 years old in 2026. Kevin Costner, the quintessential American leading man of epic cinema, now 70 years old in 2026. Liam Neeson. Long before he became a modern action phenomenon, he was a distinguished 90s leading man, now 73 years old in 2026. Mark Wahlberg, transforming flawlessly from a 90s music idol to a top-tier industry heavyweight, now 54 years old in 2026. Sean Penn, the raw, intense, and deeply gifted powerhouse of his generation, now 65 years old in 2026. Eric Roberts, a highly prolific and captivating staple of 80s drama, now 69 years old in 2026. Keanu Reeves, Hollywood's most genuinely beloved gentleman and ageless icon, now 61 years old in 2026. Cary Elwes, the charming fairy tale hero who gave us timeless memories, now 63 years old in 2026. Alec Baldwin, the sharp, piercing leading man who dominated early 90s cinema, now 67 years old in 2026. And that completes our look at some of the most iconic heartthrob actors from the 1980s and 90s, then and now. From charming young stars to legendary industry veterans, time may have evolved their looks, but their massive impact on Hollywood remains absolutely unforgettable. These were the faces that defined an entire era of entertainment and made millions fall in love with the magic of cinema. Now, we want to hear from you. Which actor was your absolute favorite back in the day? And which transformation surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this nostalgic trip down memory lane brought back great memories, please hit that like button, share this video with fellow movie lovers, and make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We bring you the most nostalgic, surprising, and iconic stories from Hollywood right here. Thank you for watching, and remember, legends never fade away.